so far, do you have any doubts?
No.
No, right? Okay. Okay. So in the last class, we were discussed about the combined reducers, right? How we are going to implement the combined reducers.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in this class, we are going to start about the Redux thunk and Redux saga. Okay. First, we will see about Redux thunk. Next, we will see about Redux saga. Okay. So why we have to go for the Redux thunk or Redux saga? So suppose if we have any execution of our logic, it takes time, right? Like suppose you have a timeouts, right? Okay, you may have set timeout, right? What will set timeout will take? It will take a function, right, as a first parameter, and the second one is for how many milliseconds it is going to be executed, right? After how many milliseconds? Correct. So now, what actually how we are going to have written logic of updating the state, right? So suppose I have a written logic like this, right? Okay. Whenever user trying to perform an action, we are trying to updating the state after performing the action related logic, right? So suppose I have a logic that resides in my set timeout function. Okay, if I write like this, right, what will happen is our return statement will wait until the logic of this set timeout function is going to be executed. Is it going to wait this return statement?
No.
No, right? So yeah, in order to handle these type of logics, right, we can say these are called asynchronous actions, right?
Yes.
Asynchronous actions. So in order to handle these type of asynchronous actions, we have to use the middleware. Okay, we have to use the middlewares. Okay, so we have two types of middlewares, two libraries which supports the middleware logics. Those are the Redux saga or Redux thunk. Okay, first we are going to see about the Redux thunk. So now, before going to the Redux thunk, what are the possible asynchronous actions we may come across while developing the application, right? So the first one may be the timeouts. So we already see this example in earlier classes. So if we implement set timeout function, so the later statements, whatever we have written after this set timeout, won't wait, right? So this is one type of asynchronous action. So in order to handle these type of actions, we must use a middleware library. Okay, next we have request response handling. Okay, we saw this one also, right? How to handle the request response asynchronous. Okay, and also interaction with the third party API. Okay, third party API, third party stores. Okay, we can say API. Okay, so in this case also we may use Ajax or Axios or any other libraries to interact with this third party APIs, right? So and also if we have any different callbacks also, right? These are four we can consider as a asynchronous actions. So in order to handle these asynchronous actions, we are going to use the first library called Redux thunk. Okay. So before evaluating or understanding about Redux thunk, we have to see what is a thunk. Do you know any meaning about thunk?
No.
Okay, so yeah, the thunk is nothing but a subroutine which is used to inject any additional calculation into another subroutine. Okay, so a thunk is a subroutine. Okay, subroutine is nothing but a, what is subroutine? Do you have any idea?
Mm, no.
Okay, subroutine, earlier we call it as a subroutine. Now we are calling it as like a method or function simply. Okay, which is nothing but a set of instructions that we can combine the set of instructions into a subroutine. Whenever we want to execute this set of instructions, we can use this subroutine to invoke them. Correct? In the similar to function. Okay, a thunk is a subroutine. It is also a subroutine. We can say it is a type of function. Okay, which is used to inject an additional calculation into another subroutine. Okay, we can inject this thunk into another subroutine. Okay, that we call it as a additional calculation here. Okay, so we are going to see in the coming session. Okay, next. Okay, what is the next point? Thunks are primarily used to delay the calculation until the result is needed. Okay, so most of our asynchronous actions are will delay some giving the results, right? Okay, so the thunks are used to, we can use them there. Okay, thunks are primarily used to delay the calculation until the result is needed. Okay, next point. Okay, instead of performing some work now, we can produce a function body or an unevaluated function or expression thunk, which can optionally use it to perform the work later. Okay, so we will see this point. Instead of performing some work now, we produce a function body or unevaluated expression. We can call it as the thunk, which can optionally be used to perform the work later. Okay, this we can call it as a thunk. Okay, we are going to see a simple example now. If we are trying to find a hypotenuse, how we are going to finding the hypotenuse? How we can find the hypotenuse? If we have two sides, we can do by passing two sides, right? Math dot sqrt of x into y, right? Sorry, x into x plus y into y, right? Okay, this is the formula for finding an hypotenuse. Okay, assume this is a one logic. It takes the little bit of time to get the result. Okay, so we can mark this inside of a thunk. Okay, that we are going to see now. Okay, the thunk is a function that takes the no arguments, and when invoked it performs a potentially expensive operation. Okay, so in our case it is computing a or finding an hypotenuse. We are considering this as a expensive operation. Okay, so now how we are going to do it? I'm going to create a function called thunk, right? So just I'm going to do a hypotenuse of 3, 4. So now are you seeing, right? So what we have done, a thunk is a subroutine, right? We said that it is a subroutine. It is nothing but a function. Here you can see it is a function. So yeah, and it produces a function body or an unevaluated expression. You can see it is producing an expression. Okay, so whenever we are going to call this thunk, what it is going to do? It is going to call this hypotenuse operation, right, or a expensive operation. Hypotenuse is going to be called whenever it is going to call a thunk operation. Okay, so we can do something with thunk. By passing thunk, we can do it whatever we want to do it. Okay, in this way we can define a thunk functions for our asynchronous actions. Okay, we are going to see how we are going to use them in our Redux API. Okay. Okay, so for what are the return types for our action creators or actions? Is it an object or function?
It is
If you want, I will open. Yeah.
Okay.
This is one action creator, right? Yeah. Now you can tell.
It's an object.
It's an object, right? Correct. So far, we made all the action creators return type as an object, right? Correct. So now, by using the Redux thunk middleware, we can write the action creators which can return a function instead of an action object. Understood that?
Okay.
By using the Redux thunk middleware allows us to write action creators that return a function instead of action object. Okay. So now the thunk can be used to delay the dispatch of an action, or it is going to dispatch only if a certain action is met. Okay, so you will understand this point when we are going to see the example. The thunk can be used to delay dispatch of an action, or to dispatch only if a certain action is met. Okay. So, okay, if we are going to define a inner function inside of thunk, okay, we are defining an asynchronous function called hypotenuse here for this thunk, right? Okay, in the same way, if we are going to define an inner function for our thunk, okay, the inner function by default, it is going to receive the store methods, okay, dispatch and get state as a parameters. Okay, you will understand this point once we are going to see creation of thunk. Store methods, dispatch and get state as parameters. Okay, so we can install the Redux thunk software by using the npm install Redux thunk. Okay, so what this middleware is going to do? Okay, so if the Redux thunk middleware, once we install, it is going to perform some of the following actions. Okay, so the first one is, okay, it is going to do some of the following actions. First one is, if the normal action object is dispatched, okay, the Redux thunk simply pass it along. Okay, along means it is going to the directly to the reducer, as if Redux thunk did not exist. Understood this point?
Yeah.
Okay, next. If we are going to return a function from the action creator, okay, what it is going to do? Okay, if a function is dispatched, okay, so whenever we are trying to dispatch, right, an action, so if the action is an object, in that case the Redux thunk simply it is going to the reducer. Okay, so whenever we are trying to dispatch a function, right, what the Redux thunk will do? The Redux thunk calls that function, passing the stores methods dispatch and state as a parameters to it. It does not forward the thunk to the reducer. Understood? If a function is dispatched, okay, Redux thunk calls that function, passing in the stores dispatch and state. Okay, it does not goes to the reducers, right? Okay. Now our action creators can return objects or functions, right? Can return objects or functions. Okay. If in case of the objects, what will happen? Everything normal, right? How so far? What are the examples that we've seen? All are returning objects, right? Everything works as normal. Now, in the latter case, which means if we are returning a function, in case of functions, okay, the function intercepts and it is going to be executed, right?
Okay.
The function intercepts and it is going to be invoked. Correct. Okay. Whenever thunk is invoked by the middleware, it performs a asynchronous effect. Okay. So most of the time for the asynchronous effects, we are going to write the thunks. Okay. So what we are going to do? Okay. When that async is complete, okay, the callback handler can dispatch a normal action to the store.
Okay.
Understood this point?
Yeah.
Dispatch a normal action to the store. Okay. Okay, Redux thunk is a middleware that looks at every action that passes through the system, and if it is a function, it is going to call that function, right? So now we are going to see how a normal function is going to be as a Redux thunk function. Okay, function get username, right? Okay, so for this, it is a thunk function, right? It is a thunk. Okay, what I am going to do? The thunk normally returns a asynchronous function, right? So I am going to return a function. You are seeing, right? This one.
Yeah.
We have written a function here, hypotenuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the same way, what I am doing, I am returning a function, okay, which takes, the inner function takes two parameters. What are those? Dispatch and get state, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this function, we have a logic to perform the asynchronous logic to get the username, right? I'm going to return axios dot get, correct? Some URL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Slash username, correct? What it is going to do? It is returning us a promise, right?
Yeah. That,
Okay, then result response.json, something like this, right?
yeah.
Okay, dot then what I'm going to do? I'm going to get it as a data, right? Once I got this data, what I will do, I will return a dispatch, right, by passing type as a, okay, get user success. Understood? Okay, result data. Correct? If now dot catch, correct? Error. What I can do, I will dispatch a type by saying get user failure. Okay, result error. Understood it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, earlier what we are going to do, store dot dispatch of action object, right? Now I'm going to dispatch get username function. On click of the button, I'm going to dispatch a get username function. Understood it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after installing thunk, we have to apply the middleware to our store, right? So for that, we have a apply middleware function. By using that, we are going to apply the middleware to our store. Okay, so first we are going to see one standalone program by using Redux thunk. Okay, so let me open that. So in this, what I have done, first I installed the Redux, right? React Redux and Redux thunk and also ActJS. Okay, these are the modules I installed in my local. So in my node modules, I will have all these libraries here. Understood?
Okay.
Okay, this is for simple standalone. How we have done that simple Redux example, right? Like that.
Okay.
Okay. Now in order to invoke the thunk, we have a Redux thunk that I am importing by using require. Okay, so you can see apply middleware is a function inside of Redux library. By using that, we are applying a thunk middleware to our store, right? So what this middleware is going to do, it is going to intercept for a function type. If we are going to dispatch a function type, then it is going to intercept that function and it is going to be invoked that. If it is a normal action object, it won't intercept and it is going to directly to our reducer. Okay, correct?
Okay.
Yeah. So now what I have done, I created an initial state called loading, loaded, and posts and error. Understood this one? Yeah.
Can you come again?
Yeah. So this is a simple initial state.
Okay.
Okay, it contains a loaded post error.
Yeah.
Correct? So now before going to do that, I am going to call this asynchronous logic, right? Okay, so what it is going to do? It is going to return me some posts. Correct?
Yeah.
So now you can see get posts is a function. Correct? It takes the dispatch and get state. Okay, still it is not a, yeah, it is a thunk function, right? So similar to like that. So here we are returning a dispatch and get state, right, directly to this. So now first what I am going to do, just simply I am marking fetch post start. You are seeing, right, this one.
Yes.
So in most of the applications you will see a loader image, right? Okay, the loader image or some loader uh, text, something like loading, right? Like
Yes.
this, right? Yeah. When yeah, what is the situation whenever you will get this loading image? Whenever we performs an action, right? I mean to say performs a button click. Okay, so this loading will be shown on click of the button and until the request completes, right? Are you getting?
Yeah.
So yeah, in our case, what I have done, I have created one dispatch action which is called fetch post start. What it is going to do? It is going to update the Redux state by saying our loading as a true.
Okay.
Correct? Now next step. Next, once we have done that, I am going to call this post by calling the axios.get, right? Okay, once I got the response, what I'm going to do, I'm going to dispatch an action of type receive posts.
Yeah.
Okay, by passing this response, right? So yeah, once we got this response, what we are going to do, we are going to update the store inside of our posts array. Understood?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this step is same. And also I mentioned loaded as a true. I mentioned loading false. Okay, posts action dot payload. Correct?
Okay.
Now if we got an error, what we can do? We can dispatch an action by saying fetch post error. It is going to say state, I mentioned loading false, but also we can have a message like error we have, right, that we can update inside of this store, right? Immediately by seeing the message, we can see what is the error that we are going to get. Correct?
Yeah.
So now Now, up to now, clear it?
Yes.
Okay. Now we have to pass our store, our thunk to Redux store, right? So for that we have a apply middleware. For that we are going to pass the thunk.default. This thunk is a library that I imported from Redux thunk.
Okay.
Okay, so now if I am going to run, you can see node. Okay, you are seeing right. So first it is showing loading true, and you will see in a span of time you will see the results, right?
Yeah.
So if we mark it as a error, right, how it is going to do? If I remove something, now you can see it is dispatching an error with a null, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm getting as error, right, 2 hour. In my action object, I'm getting error, correct? So here, what I can do for error, action dot reason or error. You can see, right, that whole error object came.
Mm-hmm.
You are seeing, right, error request failed with status 404.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this way, we can handle the asynchronous action. Okay. So now we are going to see one example on how we are going to integrate with the UI, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, I have created one example already that I'm going to show. So you remembered earlier we have done React Redux, not Redux one. Yeah, we have done, what is this? We have done routing application, right? By using the login, right? You remember? For the login, what we have done earlier, we have hard coded the username and password, right? Correct? Okay, whenever user sends the username and password as these two only, we are accepting the success, right? Now, but assume that you have an API. By using the API, you have to check whether the username is going to be username and password is going to be valid or not. correct? So for that we have, I used one okay, which is a post method, right? Let me take go to here. Okay, so it contains some login is there. Okay, you are seeing, right? It is a post method, correct? Login successful, which is of type post. Yeah, and it accepts a body called email and password, right? Are you seeing?
Yeah.
Okay, and it returns a token once it is successful, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So what we are doing, we are going to input this username and password, sorry, email and password by using our login form, correct?
Okay.
Okay, once user click on login form submit button or login button, we are going to call this API. If it is valid, it is going to return as a valid token, correct?
Okay.
Now you can see I'm going to hard coded these two values, city slica and eu dot hold dot at the rate request dot in. So if we click on it, are you seeing that loader?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now if we enter the wrong password, okay,
Yes.
it is going. Okay, we'll see that.
Mm.
Yeah. Now you understood, right? This one. Constant perform login is a thunk function, correct? Okay, for this I am passing email and password.
Okay.
So this email and password we have to send as a body to our request, correct?
Okay.
So that's why for my thunk I am passing these two parameters, email and thunk, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is going to return a function here. So inside this function, it takes dispatch and get state.
Okay.
Correct? First step, first what I am doing, I am dispatching an intermediary dispatch action called login start.
Okay.
Okay, next, once we got the response right, then I'm saying login action. Okay, we can mark it as a success or something like that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, if it is failure, I'm marking it as a failure, login error.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, I will come to this own props. First, we will understand this login. thunk first we'll try to understand about thunk. Okay, next, what is our next step? Any reducers, I no need to explain that. Yeah, in reducers what I have done, I have created one initial state, email, password, and token also I'm storing into my store.
Okay.
Correct. Now this okay, in combined reducers I passed this reducer, right? Login reducer. Okay, inside this login reducer, what I'm going to doing, if login action was successful, I'm setting the user to local storage.
Okay.
Okay, next one. Inside our store, what we have to do, we have to pass our thunk to the middleware, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the Redux thunk. Okay, just we have to pass the thunk as a middleware. Okay, now if you see our login thunk form.js, whenever we are trying to click on this login button, what we have to do, we have to dispatch an action, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that dispatch of an action, earlier we used to dispatch an action creator which returns us a object. Now we are going to return a function, right? You can see here. Okay, I have created one map dispatch to props. Inside this, it returns an object, right? This is an object form. Okay, so it returns perform login. It takes two parameters, email, password. It is going to dispatch this login of email, password, one props. This is from our thunk, right?
Yes.
Just I exported this one, correct?
Okay. Yeah.
I imported as a login here. Just I called this login function by passing this email, password, and one props.
Okay.
Understood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now on submit, right? On click of login, this is going to be called, I think so. Okay, form on submit is there, correct? Okay, this dot on submit is going to be called. It is saying login click true. Okay, if I'm going to call my perform login, which is inside of our props, right? It is going to add as a prop, right? So this dot props dot perform login of email and password, correct?
Okay.
So we are dispatching a function. So what it is going to do? It is going to call this login, perform login, right? So it will update the login start, which means it updates the state as a how it is going to. It is going to update the loading true, correct? So whenever my loading is true for my state, I'm going to update the image loader on my button. Are you following?
Yeah.
So you can see here. This is my login button, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if loading is true, I'm going to return an image called loader, some width and height.
Okay.
So how we can get this loading? You can get it from store, right?
Yeah.
So what it is doing, it returns an results app state. So in our state, whenever we update the loading true, whenever we perform a login start action. So automatically the component is going to re-render. It is going to update the state as a loading true. Then you will get that image loader.
Okay.
Understood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see the error scenario. Now, okay, even if we pass a wrong password also, it is giving that one. We'll see. How about username? Okay, let me give the wrong username.
Okay.
Are you seeing? We got some error, right?
Yeah.
So what is this error? Okay, request failed with status code 400, and I have in my store error user not found, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So I want to display this error whenever user clicks on this login button, right? So how I can do it? Simply we have to check the props, right? So it is already in the store, right?
Yeah.
So I can display I think if we go to this app.js, it is having props store.user we have. So just a minute, let me put. Okay, now if you click on it, in our app state, you will see the store details, right?
Yeah.
So if we are trying to print our props, what will happen? You will get a prop as a results, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So what I can do? I can display a message. This dot props dot results dot, correct? Inside results you have user object, right? User dot error, right? Now you got it?
Yeah.
Understood it. So in this way we have to handle the asynchronous actions.
Okay.
Okay, so tomorrow we will discuss about this one props. Okay.
Okay.
So how we used this one props to re-render our or redirect our component even if user tries to, suppose I will give slash about, right? It is going to the
Yeah.
login page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Login success, it is going to the about component only, right? Yeah, whatever the earlier URL that we visited, it is going to that URL only.
Okay.
Following, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that we have achieved by using the one props. Okay, so I will share this code. You can practice and try to understand about this one prop. If you didn't understand, we will discuss in tomorrow's class.
Okay.
Yeah, and also I'm going to start the next middleware, async middleware we have, Redux Saga, right?
Uh-huh.
That also I'm going to start in tomorrow's section.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, for tomorrow, can you go through the concept of generators once?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you will be easily understanding about Redux Saga.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I will share this video and this example in
Yeah.
Drive.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tomorrow we'll meet. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.